Hello everybody and welcome to this quick little time lapse. So we've got some lemons here. You can see I'm putting in a very rough sketch, just really to map out and place the lemons. I'm going to work on the sky first, so I usually work background up to foreground. So mapping in the lemons just helps me with my placement. I'm not too worried about the leaves because the leaves are going to come over the lemons, like you can see here in the reference photograph. I generated this image using Midjourney, which is an AI program. Find it really helpful and useful. I don't need to worry about things like royalty or any copyright issues. And also I don't have lemon trees growing outside my garden, so it becomes a very useful aid to use. So I started with the blue violet more, then a cerulean blue in the background. So we've got more of a purple tone, and I really like the look of the purple tones with the lemons. I think it works really nicely. That's just not my personal style, my personal preference. I'm working on pastel matte paper here. The size is quite big from what I usually work. It's about 53 centimeters by 43 centimeters, and it's the dark green colorway. No particular reason that I'm using this color other than that I had the big sheets of this green, so I could cut them down to slightly smaller sheets. Otherwise, all the pastel sheets I have they're about the A3 and A4, and I felt like doing something a bit bigger and a little bit more squarish. Now I say squarish because it's not an exact square, but you can see here I'm just putting the leaves over those lemons. So starting with the lemons, I'm adding greens into the lemons. I'm not just adding yellow. I'm adding greens. I'm adding orangey yellows into the greens, into the lemons, sorry, excuse me, as well as those pale typical acid yellows. In the highlight, the lightest value will be white, but around that white, I use Grey 27 from Unison, which is a tinted white. It's got a very pale yellow tint to it. So I've mapped in my lemons, and now I've worked a bit mapping in where the leaves are going to go. Now, I don't put in all the details for the leaves. I don't make every single leaf an individual detailed leaf. You can see I'm pulling out details of just a few of the leaves. I really like that because for me, I want this to just look like a snapshot as a part of a tree, and some of those leaves are sitting in the background, and the further back an object is, the less details you're able to see. And so by me putting crisp edges around certain elements of the leaves, it's going to bring those leaves forward to the foreground. So more detail brings something forward, less detail pushes something back. And I like the combination of both. I think it just looks more realistic, and I personally just enjoy that, rather than putting in every single leaf, like I said. So you'll see me here, I'm just going around doing some negative pasteling. Where I'm not happy with the shape of either the leaf or the lemon, I'll just go around with the colors I used for the background and carve into the lemon or the leaf to just get a better shape. So here you can see I'm using greens, greens that are have quite a bit of yellow in them. So I'm thinking like khaki sort of greens. There you can see me putting another green down. It's got even more yellow in than the previous green I put down. So just using a mixture, thinking of the greens. I'm not putting blue greens down, so look for greens that definitely have more yellow in them. Same for the leaves. I'm always saying this. If you watch any of my demos, for me to create a realistic leaf, add in browns and yellowy toned greens, because that brings more realism to the piece. So yellow greens are invaluable. I use them all the time. So you're looking for those swampy, khaki sorts of greens. And sometimes, if you compare your greens, if you lay out all your greens, you will be able to tell which greens have more yellow in them. So I use a lot more of those in my leaves and particularly these lemons. However, I am of course using greens that also have blue based bias. They lean more toward the bluey greens, which you can see here, especially the very dark greens that I've got going in there. It's 179 by Sennelier, which is intense black green. I use it all the time in my work, as well as Phthalo Green Dark by Art Spectrum. It's basically the same color as the Sennelier 179. So here, just building up, lots of tweaking, continuing on putting in my darks, midtones, and my lights to build up the painting till I get it to a place that I'm happy with. Now, for the texture of the lemon, you can see my base layers were very, very smooth. I was concentrating more on the tonal value, so how light or dark my lemons were. But lemons have this thick, wobbly, what's the right word? Kind of like rhino textured skin, there we go. So I tend to build that up in this particular piece in the later layers. That's why I'm kind of like dotting the colors onto the pastel, just to create more of that texture that we can see that lemons have. Because I think that's quite important. It's such a characteristic of a lemon, is to get this texture in. So lots of dotting, but softening out the dots, because you don't want it to look like it's got a disease, you know. But still, just by gently tapping in with your finger, you will leave some of that pastel stroke behind, so it looks like a dot but not too pronounced, which is what I'm after. You can check this over in my Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Obviously, that's not sped up. It's in real time, and I obviously talk a lot more through what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But this is coming to an end now. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.